What a time it is in this country to face the music. But perhaps first, we have to put a face to the music. Ebony-hued, big lips and wide nose. A family tree with a godfather of soul saying it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Whether Stax or Motown, the fact is profound. Black music is this nation's greatest cultural export. It is a source of refuge and rebellion, of protest and peace, of Billie Holiday singing of strange fruit, swinging in the southern breeze. Emmett Till found face down, floating in a Spotify stream. No man knoweth the day, the night, or the hour. But when Chuck D told us to fight the power, when Gil Scott got us to think in depth, when Marian Anderson had to sing on those Lincoln steps, when Marvin asked, "What's happening, brother? Which way is America? Living color, NWA or Darius Rucker?" It is no wonder the black voice is an authentic American voice, prophetic and prudent. And if the music matters, then perhaps so should the black lives that produced it.
It's cruel what you're asking me to do. Why should I choose if you don't have to?
She's the dream, notorious Nash. She's my curious half, but she drives me delirious as Eddie in red leather, a definite trendsetter. I'm here to pay my fair share, Lily Ledbetter. The way I'm not kidding, you think I'm an empty nester. Amsterdam, surrounded by Vespas. The relaxation there was electric. Tesla, the soul is what you know. The body is just extra. A fine line between the dreams and harsh realities, throwing it all away in a haze of technicalities. If two becomes one, one becomes the casualty. To lose yourself in love, she says, is a tragedy. But what are we to do? Hold on to our old selves, embrace something new. Retain who we are, it's familiar but it's flawed. So close to heaven but so far from God.
What you're asking me to do. Why should I choose if you don't have to?
I've loved you in the the softest of ways, the hardest of hearts charted the waves. It's a nautical grave where I would willingly die. I'd be ill to advise, even with the one sun you can still be deprived. The light shooting your eyes, there's reticence in your retinas, etc. and etc. She says she wants real love, not replicas, or she's willing to start from scratch. Eczema. Life is hard on its own, so far from home. We search for breadcrumbs in art, songs, and poem. We seek partners for journeys down the road that will lighten the load, despite what we've been told. To exist is to survive unfair choices. To live is to thrive amidst the noises. Siren songs signal the trouble in the worst way. What's a thigh gap when you are dating a mermaid? Asking all the wrong questions in the first place.
What you're asking me to do, yeah. Why should I choose if you don't have to? I know you love me, does that make me yours? The love we may do, we know what that's for. I don't, but I know love is for now. You're out for now, yeah. I know they love me, but that makes me yours. The love we may do, we know what that's for. I don't, but I know love is not mine. You're out for now. It's you, what you're asking me.
I will take every last bit of it, but here we are. Classic Conversations with JT and Low, and as you can see, we are back in the lounge. You know, I told y'all we was rebuilding some things down here, so as you can see now, we back in the lounge back here, you know, got a couple of books up there on the bookcase, you know, getting smart again and all that good stuff.
Educated.
Yeah, doing what we do. This is my first week back. I was gone last week because of Atlanta Cigar Week. Me and the wife had some duties to do. You know, when you're making that paper, you got to make that paper. And my man Angelo held it down, and I heard the conversation was
classic.
Pretty classic, huh?
It was classic. Yes, sir. Yeah, it went down last week, brother. We had a good time, man. You know how it goes, man. You know, we were planning to talk about one thing, and one thing was said, and it led to another conversation. And, man, it went down, man. We had doctors and everything calling in. Boy, we had a good time last week, man.
All right, well, we're going to hold on.
We had our girl, Christy Gaynell, in here. You know, she loves to argue her point.
Yeah, I know.
Last week, she had a little backup. My man, Jaron Shorter, came in, and you know, he jumped in with his superhero cape on to try to save her.
Listen, y'all, tonight we're gonna get into that a little bit more a little later on. We want you in on this conversation, 404-500-1605. I'm here to put that up on the screen so you can see it. And don't worry about it. This is the same JT. There's a typo. T is T-E-A. I don't want nobody thinking they're looking at the wrong show.
Too funny.
But yeah, y'all give us a call, man, 404-500-1605. Please go to urbanatlanta.com and subscribe. I know it's nice to look at it, you know, right on our Facebook page, but we really need for you to go subscribe over there at urbanatlanta.com and check out all the other shows that's going on over there also. So what we're going to talk about this week, man, you know, like I said, I was out all last week enjoying Atlanta Cigar Week, you know, a celebration of the cigar culture here in Atlanta. And, you know, something that I noticed, you know, I'd already heard some things on the news when they was talking about what Deion Sanders is doing at Jackson State, what Eddie George is doing at Tennessee State. and how a lot of the NFL players are now thinking about coming back to the HBCUs, you know, to give it that push. But while I was out at Cigar Week, I kind of recognized something, that nobody was really flying their flag. In other words, nobody out there was saying that they went to North Carolina Central, or they went to Morehouse, unless they got into, you know, a conversation, and then one of the people in the conversation would say, yo, yeah, man, I went to Morehouse. When I was at Morehouse, then all of a sudden, it was like 7 people around me that all went to HBCUs, but I was wondering, why aren't they flying their flag even more? You know, I even thought about it more as in corporate America. You walk in somebody's office, and you'll see that they went to Duke. You'll see that they went to UNC Charlotte. You'll see that they went to University of Texas, Oklahoma U. But you find out later that somebody's office that you went into actually went to Morehouse, or this young lady that went to Spelman. But they're not flying the colors. Now, before y'all jump on my back, I know there are some out there flying the colors. I do understand that. You know, I do understand that part. But I just wonder why enough, you know, I didn't go to an HBCU, but I attended a lot of parties there. You know,
right.
I love to brag on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't go. So I just wonder, you know, what is it that we can do to help our HBCUs? And I think that's where it could really start, by just saying that, you know, I'm a CEO or I'm a head whatever of this department, and this is the college that I went to.
Particularly when it's the undergrad, because a lot of those people may have a graduate degree elsewhere, but the undergrad may have came from HBCU, but the graduate degree is what they're flying, what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I just feel, again, like I said, I didn't go. I'm a military guy.
I knew that was coming. Number one fan.
What'd she say?
Behold the mighty, mighty green and gold. She reps her Norfolk State on the regular. Her and my Lane, they have no issue, no hesitation, reservation. They gonna rep that green and gold and dare you to talk bad about it.
Yeah.
Even when they play on them other big boys and get blasted, boy, you still can't say nothing bad, boy. I tell you.
And that's what I love. One of my boys, shout out to my man Alvin, Alvinator, South Carolina State. When I tell you, on Saturday and Sunday, Alvin is wearing his South Carolina State shirt. I don't care if they playing Clemson. I don't care if they playing Alabama. Alvin's wearing his shirt with his South Carolina State hat on. He represents them every weekend, even though he root for Georgia. But he's wearing his South Carolina State stuff, rooting for Georgia. And that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, fly your flag. You know, if I had a flag to fly, I would fly it. I'm not flying that U.S. Army flag. I'm good on that. I'm so good on that flag, you know. And I also think about, you know, there are a lot of athletes from HBCUs that went on, you know, Chris Paul from Winston-Salem. So, of course, he's right there at Winston-Salem State. He went to Wake Forest. I can't blame him. I understood why he did it. But when I tell you this guy represents the HBCUs just as if he actually graduated from one of them, because he represents each one.
He does.
You know, and I just wish that more would do it. I hate that everything had to happen for people to finally start. Like ESPN now does, what is it, an HBCU showcase every Wednesday?
Week. Yeah, every Wednesday.
It wasn't doing that before.
Went from once a year. Well, since Stephen A. Smith been there, they were doing it once a year for the last couple of years. Yeah. But now they're doing that jump every week, which is really cool.
And the funny thing is, I love Stephen A. Smith. But unless you really look at or have read things about Stephen A. Smith, you would not know that he went to Winston-Salem State University.
Right. He
does not fly that flag. And until he starts talking about his little small basketball career, you know, that didn't last that long. But then he would say he played at Winston-Salem State, you know, but he does not fly that flag, I think, nowhere near enough. You know, that should be something that said he's on TV on his show 5 times a week. It should be said at least 5 times a week to me. You know, I think you can bring more awareness to whatever struggles that certain HBCUs are having if you let people know that these HBCUs have put out this person and put out that person.
I mean, you're right, because even with Stephen A. Smith, I was there thinking about how that would go. But then I thought about, just as quick as I thought about it, I was like, well, shoot, Molly reps UConn on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
On the same show.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows she's a UConn grad because she makes it known on a regular basis.
If there's a coaching change, which was recently at UConn, Molly is letting you know.
Yeah.
I know there's been some coaching changes at Winston-Salem State. Stephen A. Smith ain't talked about one of them. He ain't talked about a new hire for Winston-Salem State. You know, everybody talking about Deion.
That's interesting.
Deion should go to USC. Hey, why don't Deion? Well, he's probably going to go to Florida State, but why don't he go to Winston-Salem State? You know, or, you know, I love the idea of all of the former NFL players coming back to the HBCUs. Eddie George, that was, you could tell that was something that he just wanted to do for the HBCU, because I don't think
He looked out of place, didn't he?
very.
He looked out of place.
Very.
When I watched that game, I like.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie George has had a head coaching job. I don't
he
think
never
he's
coached.
had any coach.
Never coached, period. And said he was never really interested in coaching. He just kind of came about.
I remember when that happened, and I didn't like that. He said that. He was like, you know, I never was really interested, you know, and then I just figured, you know, what the heck? That wasn't
Not real motivational, right?
Yeah, that wasn't, you know, everybody say Deion is a great recruiter. Now, all the kids going to Jackson State, all the parents is the ones that love Deion. So that's why they getting their kids.
Deion has an absolute passion for the game, and he displays it on a regular basis. You know what I mean? And he's been giving back to the game, you know, from day one. So it's definitely different from him and a Eddie George, you know what I mean, who you don't really hear from. You know what I mean? He's pretty much in the background. So
oh, wait a minute. I have my comments down. And I'm so glad I said, listen, y'all, for all of you that do represent, don't get on me too hard, because my boys, they came in. Let me see where we at. What's up, Reggie? There we go. See, Reggie said he represents Alcorn State University to the fullest. My man Quentin, I can only speak for me, but if you come by my cubicle, you'll know I went to an HBCU. See, that's what I'm saying right there, man. You know, that's what I'm saying right there is, you know, I worked for this company for 18 years. Now that I'm not there, I'm finding out there was a lot of people there that actually went to HBCUs that I had no idea of. There was only one person that was there that I knew that she went, and I'm sure that she's going to be tuning in, Keisha Kelly. You know, she's all about it. I mean, she flies her flag. If you can do it more than daily, Keisha Kelly does it. Real talk. She flies her flag big time. And I'm hoping that she's, hey, Q, reach out to her and see if she can give us a telephone call. I would love to speak to her about some of the stuff that she's doing to bring an eye to the athletic programs at the HBCUs.
yeah, that's interesting thoughts though, man, in terms of, you know, I mean, you got, like you said, Deion Sanders, but what Deion has done for the HBCUs in such a short period of time, I think is absolutely phenomenal. And it shows, you know, what can be done. You know what I mean? Your opening question of what can be done. I mean, he's absolutely proven in a very, hadn't been a year yet, and he's brought so much attention to HBCUs. It's not even funny. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the reason why there's an HBCU week on ESPN is because of Deion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Period.
The reason why you can, you know, although they're not showing all the HBCU games, you know what I mean? Usually you only got the, what's the classic called that NBC would show once a year? Southern Heritage or something? In Southern Heritage Classic, that's about the only one you would get. You know what I mean? But now, I mean, you seeing, you know, although it's Jack State, that's the only one you really seeing on a regular basis, but you're still seeing them every week, which is still highlighting the school they're playing. You know what I mean? Now, these guys are being seen when they probably wouldn't have been seen before. And
Exactly.
then what Deion is doing with highlighting the athletes, saying, "Hey, these skilled guys are just as good as any skilled guy across the country."
That's facts.
You know what I mean? You know, and he said, "Only thing we lacking is the linemen." He said, "No, we are lacking linemen." He don't deny it. He said, "You know that the linemen, them big country boys, you just you know what I'm saying? They just don't grow on trees." You know what I mean?
I think they're lacking. And especially in football, you're lacking linemen, and then you're also lacking that improvement at the skill positions because of the athletic table, the money that's spent on the food, the money that's spent on them working out and things of that nature. But again, with all of the alums out of HBCUs that is doing pretty damn well, it just, I'm not saying that they got to give all their money back, but there should be a way that they could do something to raise money. You know what I'm saying? There should be a way that you
what a
should
time
be able to
to do
raise
it.
money.
I mean, even just the fact of what Deion said about the SWAC, you're like, you know, remember he told us that boy stand up, he said, "Turn around." Now, why my babies can't have their names on the back of their jerseys?
Facts.
I mean, that's, you know, these folk come out here to see their babies play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Know what
That's
I'm
the
saying?
truth. Why they don't have their name on the back of the jersey? I mean, that John Dale I thought was real deep.
Oh, it's talking about the Bayou Classic. That's the one you was talking about?
Yeah.
The Bayou Classic.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Got a caller? Caller, what's going on, man?
Hey, brothers, this is Reg, man.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. How are you, man?
Hey, man, I ain't got no reason to complain because if I did, wasn't nobody going to listen anyway. So I just keep.
Well, let me give you your flowers, while you're alive, brother. I want to thank you again for that information for Thursday. My boy had a great time, and I'll definitely be going back. And I got you and the wife the next time I go out there.
Sounds like a plan. I actually sent you the comments that I sent it to the owner. Made sure that she knew about it. She remembered you guys, so I appreciate you going by there and giving support. By the way, what he's talking about is Stanley's Cigar Lounge. Formerly the old Cigar Rose, it is now called Stanley Cigar Lounge, and it is actually owned by a black woman. Make sure that you go by there.
She has ties. She has ties to Memphis. Her grandfather was one of the first postal workers first black postal workers in the city of Memphis, Tennessee, which is where I'm from.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, and Stanley, that's her grandfather. Stanley is her grandfather.
Yeah, that's what she named it after her grandfather. I've already been 3 times. Yeah, I've already been 3 times, man. I love it over there. I love it over there. So I see. Let me see here. I see that you say you fly your colors. So what you think can happen? What else can happen that we can actually help out with the HBCUs to bring, help to the HBCUs where it's needed at? You still there, Reggie?
Would not have black players. He wouldn't recruit them or anything else. And he ended up getting in his butt kicked against USC, University of Southern California. And so he thought it was a fluke or whatever because they had all these black players out there. And then he got beat again the following year. And so in the 3rd year, that's when he started recruiting black players from those areas who would have went to HBCUs. Now, Steve McNair, the late great Steve McNair, that's my class. So I was on the campus with Steve and watching him do what he, and even though he came in 3rd place for the Heisman, he should have won it in my personal opinion. But I'm biased. To answer your question about Chris Paul is actually enrolled at Winston-Salem now.
Who's that?
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually enrolled at Winston-Salem.
Yeah, I knew that J.R. Smith had enrolled. He's on, and he's actually going in.
Yeah, right. J.R. Smith as well.
I didn't know that Chris Paul was enrolled there. That's dope.
He's actually enrolled there.
Yeah, I saw you put that in the comment. I didn't know you was talking about it. I was going to ask you about that. I had no idea about that. That's all right.
Yeah. He's there. His mother and father graduated from Winston-Salem.
Right. Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, ties.
Yeah, I just feel that there's got to be a way that you can that we can get the eyes there so that whatever issues are there, somebody can, try and get these issues handled, as an alum. Like, again, I didn't go to college, and I didn't go to, if I didn't go to college, of course I didn't go to an HBCU. I hung out at a lot of them, plenty of them. Winston-Salem State, North Carolina Central, Shaw University, all of them. NCA&T, you almost would think I would have a degree because I sat.
Right.
Elizabeth City too. That one was a little hidden spot there. We'll talk about that one. Yeah, Elizabeth City State was right.
Yeah, I slipped down there back in the day. Another caller.
Yeah. Got another call in. Well, listen,
But
brother,
to chime in on what you guys are saying as far as it relates to getting the eyes on the program, it's kind of a dual story. It's kind of a dual sword, and I'll tell you why I say that. It's because when you have a school like Alabama, right, and you're a top tier student athlete in high school, and Nick Saban comes to your house versus the coach from Alabama State or Alabama A&M or Tuskegee. Of course, you're going to look at it from that standpoint because all he does is produce NFL players. Now, there have been exceptions, and the SWAC in and of itself has shown to be one of the divisions in college that produces high net worth individuals as far as talent goes. I mean, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley, Walter Payton, Jackson State, Doug Williams, Grambling, Steve McNair, Alcorn, Cornelius Williams, Southern. So you got a lot of good players that come out, and like you said, in order to get those eyes on them, you're going to have to do a better job of recruiting against those other schools. But it's going to be hard.
And see this,
and these young cats, they're not listening to they're not listening to the history like that.
And see, I know a lot of people are looking at it thinking that this is becoming a sports show, but that's not what's happening. You got to understand something, though. The money that comes in from these football teams run the school. And that's pretty much,
you preaching to the choir.
And look, that's not even that's not just at HBCUs. That's at every school.
Period.
So
that's at every school.
But see, and this is why, it's hard to recruit against those. It's hard to recruit against them. And it's not because of the coach. It's not because of the actual campus. It's more because of the money that's put into the athletic situation to where they actually can't develop in a way to where, and of course, we do know that some of the skilled players, when they come out of high school,
and they getting paid.
Some of them come out of high school. Well, again, that's another way.
So y'all can hear me.
We heard. Again,
my bad.
Again, that's.
No, you spitting facts over there. He ain't lying about that.
It's hard to, if two guys come out of the same, they played against each other in high school. They're the same size and everything, but one goes to Alabama, one goes to Alabama State. For whatever reason, we don't know what the reason is, but for whatever reason, that's what happened. And after 4 years, the one that went to Alabama done gained 65 pounds, and the one that went to Alabama State probably gained about 15 to 20 pounds. The one that went to Alabama done gained or took off a half a second on his 40. The one that went to Alabama State probably took off 0.1 off his 40. It's the money that's put into the coaching, the money that's put into the training, into the athletic table, the nutritionists and all that type of stuff. And once you get that money put in there that way, the rest of the money, I feel, will come back to the school.
JT, can I jump in at this point, though? Yeah, sure, go ahead. But before you jump in, let me say this real quick. JT, to your point, Magic Johnson saw that very same thing, and Magic Johnson is who is now in charge of the athletic department for Grambling State to address that very issue.
Really? What? Magic Johnson is in charge of the athletic department at Grambling State?
Magic Johnson is in control. He put money behind the athletic department at Grambling State because they sent him pictures of the training facility and how how it was dated like in the 70s or whatever. So Magic threw $11 million behind that to get that school up to par.
Wow.
Wow.
That's all right.
That is. Well, damn.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive. I'm impressed with Magic because
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that one.
And you don't. And chances are you never will. You probably don't know that Steph Curry is behind the golf program at Howard.
Now I do know that.
Oh no, they got plenty of publicity.
Yeah. I remember that one. And yeah, I mean looking up this Magic Johnson stuff, man, because
it's Howard.
Right, again.
Because it's Howard.
Yeah, that's a little different too. Howard flies a different flag for some reason than a lot of the other ones. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're better than anything, but you know,
because they showed enough ain't. I'm sorry.
A lot of your black Greek fraternities and sororities are founded on Howard's campus. That's why they call it Mecca.
All right, so let me jump in, fellas.
All right.
So, JT, this is Roy, man. This is Roy.
Hey, what's happening, Roy?
Not much. So let's go back to this first thing. The first thing that we need to do, and this is one of the problems, I think, one of the challenges of why we have so much apathy with our people as it relates to the HBCUs. I'm an HBCU grad. I'm an HBCU advocate, full blown. My entire company was built on HBCU sports and everything. And we have to, the first thing we have to stop doing is we can't compare HBCUs to Power Fives, because you can't compare most FCS programs to Power Fives. They do not have Alabama has more resources than probably a third of the NFL programs in this country.
I believe it.
So, of course, you're going to get those top-tier players, because one of the things that you're dealing with, and this is when I blurted out saying they got paid because I didn't know y'all could hear me, but you take these kids who come from these, most of the top athletes we know come from low-income areas, and you going to take them to this campus, they're going to show them all the nice, shiny stuff, and then they're going to find out that it's going to be a booster or a friend of the program that's going to come through every couple of weeks and give them a handshake. They got a little something in it. This is why a lot of our players started going and shifting to those other schools, because we don't have those kind of resources. And there are even levels to that entire conversations that we can get into. But what the HBCUs have to do.
But the thing about that conversation is most of it, well, I don't know about now, but I know it before, most of it wasn't legal. So I want to talk about the legal things that we can do to help the HBCUs, not the handshakes. We don't want to talk about that out loud.
Well, no, I mean, because at this point, for what no matter how hard we try, and so let me give you the piece that most people miss out of the discussion with stuff, because like when I say that there are levels to it, let's look at the sheer size of some of these schools. Just like I was talking about the alumni they have. You got the resources that these schools have. These Power Five, some of these Power Five conferences literally have stadiums that seat 100,000 people. And you still got people on a waiting list to be able to buy season tickets. It was either Tennessee or Alabama that literally had a waiting list to be put on the waiting list to get season tickets. And they've got a stadium that seats 100,000 already every year. So when you got that kind of support, you're always going to have a level of resources. Jackson State is the largest stadium that a HBCU has as a home stadium, and that's because it was given to them as a municipal stadium by the city. It seats 60,000. They average 30,000. So they don't even fill, we're not even filling up half our stadiums. But let's get closer to a realistic. FAMU has a 25,000 seat stadium. We probably average 12 to 15 on games outside of homecoming at home. So when you talk about the legal ways that we can do stuff, and this is one of the things that we push through our company with the schools, whenever we work with a school, we always tell them, get your alumni to buy season tickets, even if they can't come. so that you can give those tickets to kids in the community or people in the community to come out and support the program, but they get to keep all that. See, that's what you realize. You get to keep all that money directly in athletics whenever it comes to the programs like that, when they're buying season tickets and they're doing all those things. So there are things that people can do legally, JT, to help
I like that.
further the cause for the HBCUs. You know, that's a little thing. I don't know if you remember, we did it at Clark. We did what we called the ticket grab.
Yeah.
We would let businesses buy, you could spend $50 with us and buy 10 tickets for kids to go to the games at Clark Atlanta when we had the Clark Atlanta basketball deal.
Yeah.
When we were streaming their games. And we had businesses and people supporting who would do that. And this is what I was telling them. I'm like, y'all got to realize, people will support if you give them something to support. And that's been our biggest challenge, is that the leadership, the reality of it is the leadership at our HBCUs, from the athletic side all the way up to the administration, has been afraid of technology. They've been afraid of change. They've been doing things the way that we've always done them, and that's causing us to be left behind as it relates to being able to activate people to support our universities the way that we need them to.
Wow, boy, you said a lot right there. And it's easy to believe. I mean, it's really easy.
Well, let me welcome the brother that just spoke. Let me officially welcome him to the SWAC. Welcome, Sam. Oh yeah, thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah. We broke that story last year when they was coming out. We had the interview with the commissioner and the AD and the head football coach. Cool. So I guess I didn't introduce myself technically. I just started talking because people have seen me on the show before. But I'm just starting to say. But my name is Roy Evans, Roy Mitchell Evans II. I'm the president, CEO, and the founder of the Black College Sports Network and the Jericho Broadcast Network. We were podcasting HBCU sports in 1998 before podcasting had a name. We were the first people to actually stream HBCU sports online, and we've been doing it longer than anybody else. Awesome. Congratulations on that, man. That's a good look.
No doubt. That's a great idea, too, man. Wait a
minute. And I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated that was founded on the campus of Howard University.
1914, yes, it was. There we go. Good.
Yes, sir.
Let's pop a collar. Boom. But no, I think that's a great idea, though, man. Has that been successful, that program at Florida State, to get the alumni to buy that? Because that would not just the kids. That would go a long way just for student athletes, for upcoming student athletes. If they would just, hey man, here goes some tickets for go to these games, so they can see it. I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. But again, I see what you're saying. If the head of the athletic department, or on the academic side, if they're still dealing with the old school way of thinking, then I get it. It's hard to get that word out, but that's a great idea, man. That I think that would really, bring some revenue in. Plus, like you said, it would bring interest.
Yeah.
Other than, let's face it, a lot of the younger kids, they want to go to the game so that they can see the band. Honestly.
Right.
But I think that will bring more interest into them actually going and looking at the game instead of just the band.
Now, on a positive note,
hold up. At HBCU, you don't play in front of nobody at the beginning of the third quarter. They all gone for halftime because they sitting in the seats at halftime. Beginning of the third quarter, they all out getting some snacks and stuff like that. Because that's period. Period.
On a positive note, brothers, one of the things that me and some of the alumni from Alcorn do is our school was founded in 1871, right? So you have a choice of $18.71 or $1,871, however you want to break it down for that number, 1871, whether it's $87.01, and you send it into the school every year. And I know Tuskegee does that as well. That was one of the ways that we were able to increase some revenue, to update some of the stuff, because we have a pretty new stadium. It's a little old now, but
My freshman year is when they were actually putting this stadium together. But what was one of the things that we were able to do to bring some revenue back into the school? I like tickets idea, though. I like the ticket idea. I'm definitely going to present that too.
Well, trust me, we've actually got multiple programs and plans that the HBCUs can implement. Like we say, our biggest challenge is getting to the right people. Actually, over the past few months, I've had the opportunity to talk with several presidents who we're going to be looking at hopefully initiating some of these things and then getting them to be able to spread it around. I mean, because the things that we're looking at and the suggestions that we have, they're not rocket science. You know, they're easy for people to accomplish. And I think one of the challenges is that, you know, and this is look, we're going to turn the light on. You know how they say roaches going to run when you turn the light on, but you gotta say what's really going on in a lot of these situations and stuff. And one of the things that I've said, you know, many times before is our problem is we have people who are in leadership positions who want to do the same things that you see these people at the Floridas and the Alabamas and stuff doing, but they don't realize that they don't have the money to cover it up like them folks do. Because believe me, all the same stuff happens at all these other schools.
Yeah.
But they got enough in the coffers to pay somebody off to keep the story quiet so that it doesn't get into the news and it doesn't make it look bad.
Right.
You know, so this is the first thing. You got to stop trying to be those people and be who you are. You know, we have to get back. One of the other things we have to do as HBCUs is realistically get back to working together. Get back to building something. And I've said this since the day that they hired him. Charles McClellan becoming the commissioner of the SWAC was the best thing to happen to HBCU sports in the past 50 years. Literally.
Amen. Amen to that.
And he is going to change. Well, he has been changing the paradigm of the entire thing. And like, let me give you an example, JT. I don't know if y'all have talked about this. I didn't even know about it because I've been so focused on some stuff. But one of the shows that I was producing tonight is Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. And they were talking about the fact that they just did the SWAC just did a multi-year deal with the Pac-12. Now, listen to this now. For home and home basketball games. So
wow.
not just the SWAC going to the Pac-12 teams. The Pac-12 teams going to be coming.
That's
coming.
huge.
Look,
wow.
they got Oregon. They got Oregon coming to FAMU next year.
Wow.
Really?
They've done that across the board.
Now you don't hear that. That's
Hey, man.
Well, so you do if you listen to the Black College Sports Network.
no doubt.
That is wait.
But yeah.
Hold on. My boy
cool.
Quentin said it's the Big 12. You sure it's the
Big 12. I don't know the difference between them people. Whatever conference Oregon in. I pay attention to the HBCU.
But that's huge right there, man. Because like you said, usually
huge.
HBCUs are sacrificial lambs. Especially in basketball. Football, they can usually hold it on a little bit. Plus, you can pull the reins back in football as the other coach. But in basketball, it's hard to tell kids not to go score, especially when there's a shot clock. And you know, I've seen some teams, and I mean, I would actually be mad. You know, I think it was Kentucky that played Savannah State, and I think the score at one point was like 108 to like 24, and I was like, man, that's hard on a kid that's on that team that has 24 points.
But JT, hold up, let me jump in on you though, because here's another thing. One of the things I've said for years is that basketball is the sport where HBCUs could have stood up and competed with the Power Fives for years. Because let me tell you what happened. In 2019, Texas Southern should have gotten an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Let me tell you why. That year, the three schools that got an at-large bid, did not have their resume. They went on the road and beat 3 top 25 teams. Texas Southern. Right.
He got me
and
ready to
didn't
look
get
up
in.
stuff.
Nah, yeah, I remember that too.
FAMU beat. They went who Kansas State somebody. We went to somebody's house a year ago and beat them.
Now,
You got it. The difference that you got to look at, see, when you talk about whoever it was you just said that played Savannah State they were in the MEAC, but they've been a Division II a Division II school for the past 15 years. They should have never been Division I. So they weren't getting it. But you getting teams, man, you can get the players to go for basketball. Basketball has always been somewhere that we can at least compete. Look, when I was at FAMU, the Florida State players started a fight because they didn't want to lose the game to FAMU.
but see,
we had
the only problem with that
this
is, I get what you're saying, but the thing is, basketball is not going to bring in the revenue that football does. It's just not going to do it.
Not overall. Excuse me. It won't do it overall, but here's what it can do. And this is the difference between the football and the basketball paradigm. When you get those schools, that's why I said it was a travesty that Texas Southern didn't get in. And people have to understand the economics of the NCAA tournament. They get $1.6 million for every team that makes it into the tournament. The conference does. Then they get $1.6 million every time that team wins.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why you see the big power schools getting and pulling all these other. Let's add more teams to the mix, so that they can get their lower end schools in as well and get more of that money. And that's what people don't realize, that NCAA basketball is nothing but a money grab. You think the football is, but from that sense, think about if you would have got the SWAC team in and they would have made it down to the third round. You got almost $6 million being pumped into the conference that they didn't have.
Imagine that.
And this is the thing that they can do. That's how basketball can help. And listen, we got like FAMU coming into the SWAC. We got one of the nicest facilities for basketball in all of FCS sports. Look, we got this. Some of these facilities in basketball could be a lot better, but a lot of them are pretty good. We've got the ability, man.
Now, okay.
I think the biggest.
Let me ask you this. Now, I hear what you're saying about Texas Southern, but they lost in the SWAC tournament.
And that's what hurt them. That's what hurt them that year. They lost in the SWAC tournament. They did not get the automatic bid for the conference.
Oh yeah, that ain't gonna.
They should have gotten the at-large bid though.
No, you ain't getting no at-large bids out of that. Hey,
because the reality is,
JT, their resume, their resume.
But you just
let me tell you what happened after that.
But you spoke on the
money.
Let me tell you
what happened after that.
Hold up.
Quick. You spoke on the money grab, but you got to remember those tournaments based on travel. You know what I mean? And how many people can you get to travel with your team? And that's what that junk is all about. That $1.6 million, because they feel like you're going to fill up those seats. You know what I mean? So if they look at teams, they don't feel like they're going to fill up the seats. Then yeah, they don't want to get them at large bid because they figure you ain't going to bring enough to make the money.
No, let me tell you why your argument don't work, but I'm going to tell you what actually happened.
Go ahead.
What actually happened is, again, you had people from the Power Five in the room that was making the decisions for the at-large people. After all that nonsense happened, guess who sits on the NCAA committee now? The commissioner of the SWAC. He's in that committee that makes the decision about who gets in.
He still,
because here's something y'all need to understand.
Wait. He still will not get. I'm up here campaigning for HBCUs, but hear me out. He still will not get an HBCU school an at-large bid if they lose in their conference championship. It's not going to happen.
Dude, I'm telling you, with the resume that they had, they should have gotten in. It was anybody who looked at it, and we actually did a couple of shows on it. If you go back and look at the three teams that got in before them, none of them had the quality of wins that they had. Lo, let me tell you the other piece about your thing.
Go ahead.
The HBCU, the SWAC, and the SWAC in Division I, the SIAC and the CIAA in Division II have been leading the nation in the FCS level schools for attendance in football and basketball for the last 30 years. When you classify the schools again, we take the Power Five out of the picture because you're talking about a whole lot of alumni. When you put them and match them up against comparable schools, the SWAC and the MEAC, the SWAC and the MEAC and the SIC have been ahead as far as attendance. We travel better than everybody else do. That's another reason people want us to play. This ain't just a band. They know when they bring our schools, our fans are coming to the game.
So you're saying if they gave Texas Southern an at-large bid, and they will put in the, let's say, the West Coast bracket, you're saying that you felt like they would bring enough supporters to somewhere deep in the West Coast or somewhere up north or somewhere, outside of their general area. If they're not in that South bracket, you said they could bring enough fan support.
In the West Coast division, no. But if they put them in any one of the other ones, whether it's East Coast, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Even if they take them out of the Southern region, HBCU fans are going to go support. That's what happened with Hampton. Was it Hampton or Howard? No, it was Hampton that year. It was the HBCU's alumni chapters got together and all went to support Hampton that first game that they were in. Whatever region they were in, a whole boatload of HBCU alumni showed up that didn't have nothing to do with Hampton University. We will follow our schools like that.
Okay. But see, the
And
problem,
that's why I said to Ted, if they would have did
the problem that lies in
that whole Texas
again is what we just talked about. When you have a home stadium and you can't sell out your home stadium, it's hard for these people that are voting for the at-large teams to say everybody is now going to rally and support this one school. And I get what you're saying. I promise you. I'm just looking at it.
No, JT, I understand the process of what you're saying. And this is where we get into another one of these conversations about representation and us being at the table when these decisions are being made.
Yep.
And that's why the SWAC commission is now in that process. Because if you don't know that, if you don't know about the HBCU culture, you would think, just like y'all thinking, that they're not gonna show, these people ain't gonna show up. So that's the part where you're in those conversations that you gotta, we still gotta have our representation in this process.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a great conversation. I'm gonna jump off and let y'all finish up, but I do appreciate you guys letting me spend a few minutes with you.
Hey, listen, I got a question. Jaron just put in here, which is an interesting twist. He said, "Stop supporting them. Just juice the original, the NIT." What's the thought on that?
Oh, dude, I've been said that the HBCUs need to lead the NCAA, just like the Power Five. Because the reality of the economics of college sports is once you get past the Power Five conferences, maybe Power Six now, the HBCUs are the only ones that have a realistic revenue model. And it's because of the length of time that we've been playing sports. If you look at most of the other, again, FCS schools or schools of comparable size, they've only been playing football for the last 20 to 30 years. Like, where did you go to school at again, Lo?
West Georgia.
How long y'all had a football team?
Long time. I don't know how long.
Let me Google it for you.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Reggie, man,
I'm gonna Google it.
Reggie, I appreciate you chiming in, my man. I know you said you want to go ahead and get off the call. I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon. You're already gone. Okay. All right.
Where are we going with that? Where delay? Yeah, because you're really Googling it.
You're in a mess with your West.
Yeah, I'm really Googling it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. What the reason? No, and it's nothing against the school. It's just like Kennesaw State. It's just like Georgia State.
Right.
All these schools, you're talking about schools that have only been playing football for 20 to 30 years. So they have one generation of fans. barely. But you talk about FAMU. I got people who know their great grandparents went to FAMU and rooted for FAMU.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, listen.
I see what he's saying.
So, those things matter.
No, they do. I agree. You got some legacy. There's no question. And we're in full support
1982. 1982, dude.
So they started right before you got there.
Yeah, I don't know. That's accurate. They won a national championship in 1982.
No. They won the national championship that year. Hold on. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I was like, hold on, now. That's not accurate.
Well, that's basketball. No, I was looking for football. They don't program it. All they got is the program achievements. They don't actually say when it started.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen. While you Googling that, we're gonna kind of switch this over to this whole vaccination thing. With president looking to mandate.
Before you do that, JT, let me just make sure number one fan get hurt. I want to make sure I point these out. She wanted to indicate a couple things about her Norfolk State. The late president of Norfolk State, Harrison B. Wilson, is the grandfather of Russell Wilson. Facts. NSU has the top nursing and science programs. And dude, James Reese he used to take kids out there to Norfolk State, dude from my flag football league. He used to travel around to different HBCUs, and he always took the kids who were interested in nursing to Norfolk State. And he's a Norfolk State grad, so that didn't hurt. Norfolk State track coached Olympic track stars, and the newest basketball Hall of Famer, Bobby Dandridge, is a Norfolk State graduate. And she wanted to point out Earl to Pearl Monroe went to Winston State.
Man, it's crazy how back then, it's probably because the draft was bigger, it's a little different, but a lot of the players out of the HBCUs, basketball in particular is what I'm speaking about. I mean, they really got chances with the NBA and shined. I mean, there was a lot of HBCU players back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that was really, I mean, their team didn't have to go far in the NCAA tournament to get recognized. Because now, if your team doesn't go far in the NCAA tournament, you pretty much got to go overseas and play almost 4 or 5 years before you finally get a chance with an NBA team in regards to a tryout or something like that.
If you watch, and I recommend this to anybody to watch the history of college football, and there's a big portion of that. I watched this whole series during the pandemic when everything was shut down. You watched a little bit of everything, but they had the history of college football, and there's a big portion of it about the HBCUs and all the players that came from there and the transition from HBCUs to the Power 5 teams and how it happened, basically because they started getting threatened by some of the skill sets of those HBCU schools, and challenging the big boys. And they were like, wait a minute now, these guys kind of fast. You know what I mean? So they started recruiting some of them guys. But that story was really, really interesting. And you almost hate to see how, once again, our community was infiltrated.
Right.
You know what I mean? The HBCUs were infiltrated by, that almighty, for lack of better words, dollar.
The almighty dollar. You said it right. The almighty dollar.
Almighty dollar.
And now that you're saying it, I'm sitting there talking about, the basketball play. The same thing.
Boy.
Same thing. The same thing happened.
Brother who just went to the Hall of Fame for the Pittsburgh Steelers was recognized. He went to the Hall of Fame because he brought HBCUs to the Steelers. You know what I mean? And, and he made such a big impact on the Steelers organization, and then it started spreading throughout the league. You know what I mean? That brother is now in the Hall of Fame. He's deceased, but his legacy lived on for so long because he brought in, the Donnie Shell, the Carnell, all these brothers who would have never got an opportunity, but he wouldn't found them and showed, Pittsburgh. That's another reason why I respect my organization to the highest, because they've been doing it for a long time. They ain't just starting.
And this is what I say about the big boy positions, the linemen, this is what I say about that.
Dwayne,
You know,
tearing that junk up tonight.
they're not able to grow into that position the way they can go to the NFL. The skill positions in the HBCUs, as let's face it, always been represented well. Not as well as we want. Let me change that. I shouldn't say well, but we have, once we got there, we represented. But you don't hear of, maybe on a defensive side, you might get a tweener, somebody that probably played defensive end in college, but now he can go to the NFL, he can play linebacker or safety.
Right.
But those right there in the middle, that tackle and that guard, and they don't get recognized in the HBCU because they're 220 pounds playing nose guard.
Right. Very few of them.
Yeah. And again, it's that growth thing, and this is where this money needs to come back to the HBCUs so that you can get those guys
Put them into that
grow.
program.
Put them in that program to where they can grow into that size of going to the NFL or catching the eye of the NFL. I guess I should say it that way. Catching the eye of the NFL. The skill positions, I feel that, we do pretty well there. I think we should be looked at more, but you got that yet, bro? Still Googling?
Hey, Roy.
Oh man, I couldn't find out when they started. It doesn't say it. It just, all it gives on their stuff is the highlights.
Just another tidbit on this real quick, man. Jaron said HBCUs need to reorganize, incorporate some D2 teams or meeting upcoming schools like Georgia Southern similar. I mean, what do you think that's a possibility, Roy?
No, I absolutely do, and that's something I've been saying again for years. That they need to do that, because we see our biggest. Again, I think I've said this on your show a couple of times before, fellas. We are our biggest problem, but we're also our best answer. And it has been us at the HBCU. When I say us, I'm talking about people at the HBCU level. It has been us holding us back more than anything else. It's not what other people do. It's what we do to ourselves, and then what we don't do to help further our projects and stuff along, and our schools along. Putting people who are shady in positions that they shouldn't be in just because they know somebody. We have it. That's why I was talking about Charles McClellan being the most qualified for the position. Because why? He was an athletic director for the past 20 years. So he knew exactly, and he was an athletic director in the HBCU landscape. Let's be clear. So he knew what the real issues were on day to day. When you bring somebody into the HBCU landscape to be a commissioner, who was an attorney, or who was just in a different field and has no athletic experience, you're damaging what you're doing, because now they don't really understand the challenges that the schools are having on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't know that these kids got to have whatever information. Now, they can get the information and find out, but they still, again, it's just like people having, as we say, sympathy and empathy. I can feel bad for you all day, but if I've been through it and know what it is, I can help you fix it. And that's what he's doing now. Everything that he's done since he's come in is a direct result of him having been an athletic director and knowing from the little the airline deal he put together, to all the other stuff, and the different things. He's getting the student athletes the things that they need. Now, the other issue is that it's still going to take the schools on the individual level to come up to par.
So let me ask
you. He can only do so much as the commissioner.
Yeah. So based on that, let me ask this question. I got two questions, and I'll be good. Number one, I want you to tell me your thoughts on Deion Sanders' impact to the HBCUs. But the other question is, in either order, do the alumni, because you talked pretty good about the network of the HBCUs and the legacy of the HBCUs in terms of family, but do the alumni come back and support the HBCUs in the fashion that's needed, like the Alabamas do, the Michigans do, you know what I mean? is the alumni base strong enough? Because I would just assume that everything that we're saying could be magnified 10 times with that, if that's the case. But go ahead. Those two questions.
So let's deal with the Deion question first.
Right.
To me, Deion is just like the analogy I just used. He's turning the light on. Because there have been those of us who are in this industry, who've been in this industry, who have been saying all the same things. And he actually said it. I don't know if you saw the interview he did from the press conference. I think it was the press conference. And he was talking about how he was talking about the stuff with Fred McNair over at Alcorn. And he was saying how he gets calls from coaches all across the SWAC, all across, the MEAC, calling him saying, thank you for saying the stuff that we can't say because we don't have that same type of job security. See, that's the problem. That, like I said, that goes to part of what I was talking about earlier, is that they do not have the ability. Most football coaches don't have the ability, at HBCUs rather, don't have the ability to speak out against things that aren't happening like they should at their schools, because they're going to lose their job. You serve, one of the things you serve at the leisure of the president. If you already weren't, or the AD, if you already weren't his guy and he got a new job, you walking on pins and needles. You ain't saying nothing. But see, him being Deion, Deion go pretty much any way he wants to and say whatever the hell he wants to.
Right.
Because I don't care who hired him, Florida State, whatever. Deion is going to get to be Deion because he's built that kind of cachet up over his career. He can walk away and go make millions of dollars being on TV every day. So whatever you're paying him is irrelevant to him in that sense. So that's what I think the biggest advantage is that Deion, just like he said, he's able to say the things that either one, people have been saying, but we don't have a mic. Nobody listens to Roy Evans. They don't know me. Nobody in a position of power listens to me because they don't have a clue of who the hell I am, what I do. But they all know Deion.
Right.
So, that's the thing. Now, to answer your other question, that's another one of those things that's really a catch-22. Because I go back to what I said before. You have to remember, you talk about these schools that literally have hundreds of thousands of fans and alumni who are supporting their university. To answer it bluntly, no, we don't have enough people doing it on the HBCU area.
But
I get
what he's asking is, HBCUs have plenty of alumni, but if they did, would that change the dynamics?
Well, no, that's what I was about to say. It's like one thing I was going to say before I got to that, was that I think if you looked at it proportionately, that you would probably see about the same amount of people who support on either side. But that's why the programs that I talked about when I first came on, that we set up through our company, it's to give those alumni that opportunity to be able to support. See, what we want to do is we want to hit the home run. We come in asking everybody, we need you to donate. Everybody donate $1,000 to the program. Well, you can't go to every alumni. Every alumni ain't gonna have $1,000 to give you. Whether it's their life choices or how they do, we just don't have that kind of money to do stuff like that. But like I said, we had plenty of people willing to send us $50 to buy tickets to basketball games, to buy tickets to football games. The kids, you can do it. You just have to. This is the part too where I say the schools have to get more creative in how they engage their alumni. Because now I'm gonna tell you something like that y'all probably do at West Georgia that we aren't as good at. Not just in the age, and when I say this, I mean overall. Because I'm sure that there are a few schools out there that are very good at it. I had friends tell me that when they graduated, within a week, they get letters from the Alumni Association talking about them. Hey, we can't wait to get you a part of the alumni. Come in, give your money. This is what we do. We don't get that kind of stuff.
Hey, man,
we don't communicate with our people the way that we're supposed to.
When I say within a week of graduation, you better believe it, and they don't stop.
Right. We don't do that. Those are things that we've got to get better at.
Oh, yeah.
People will give if you continually ask.
Absolutely.
You know, and there are things that we just, when I talk about the looking at it from the wrong side, because one of the things that I've been saying lately a lot is that one of the biggest problems that we have at the HBCU side is that for so long, we have let other people give us crumbs that we forgot that we can bake our own damn cakes.
Now,
and that goes to the point when Dion was talking about the money games.
Right.
All right. Question for you. Another question for you. Do you think that the NFL alumni, black NFL alumni, coming back and coaching at HBCUs is going to hurt or help? Because what we've seen, Dion was somebody that he's somebody that knew what he was doing because he's coached at the high school level, and he coached at a high school level in Texas. So now when we're talking about Eddie George, never been a coach and didn't want to be a coach, but because of his name, you know, it brought eyes to Tennessee State. He got to be on ESPN College Game Day with his Tennessee State hat on, which is going to bring attention to Tennessee State. Mm-hmm. But again, this is somebody that's never coached. So do you think that is going to help or hurt more with them coming back coaching the HBCUs?
I got one thing to say to you. Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was less of a coach and more of a CEO. Look at Eddie George's staff. Who's his offensive coordinator?
Help me out.
I know he has some players.
I know he has some players there, but
no, it's not old players. He has both his offensive and defensive coordinators are former NFL head coaches.
Yeah, it's the brother coach.
Right.
He used to be the Raiders coach. He was the quarterback guy. He got
Art
exactly.
No.
No.
The one that he was a Cleveland Browns coach and got into it with Baker Mayfield. Basically got him fired.
Oh, yeah.
He's the coordinator.
Both his coordinators are former. Because is it Jeff Fisher? That's not Jeff Fisher, is it?
No, not
this
Jeff
is
Fisher.
defensive.
I heard the name. I know
it's not Jeff Fisher. Yeah, but both of his coordinators
Hugh
are
Jackson.
former NFL coaches.
Hugh Jackson, my man Quentin Caldwell just told me.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Appreciate
right.
that, Quentin.
He sure is. I was shocked when I saw him.
Yeah. Eddie George ain't got a coach. Eddie George got a managego.
Yeah, he's the CEO. Like you said, that's a good point. Good point.
So basically what you're saying is...
he's a Hall of Fame running back bringing attention to...
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is it's going to help.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
Yes, because I don't know if you remember. You weren't you in the booth when Steve Smith came up there when we was at Clark?
Yep. Yeah.
Remember why? Because he came to see the head coach was his boy.
On another note, we're going to talk about this. If basketball season happens this year, I need to get at you about that.
Oh, you know we got you, big dog.
Hey, man, that was one of the... I'm going to say, bro, he had me come down and just do some radio commentation. I didn't know the team. I ain't know nothing about them. Bro, I had so much fun. Just actually able to look out there and could tell what... I said, hey, man, that's the player. They need it. It was... Seriously, bro.
You want back in?
If that basketball thing happens again this year, I want to be up there up top. Whatever school. I know you got a lot of them on your list. Don't even matter. Don't even matter to me. Just let me know what you want.
Hey, everybody listen on JT's thing, JT. Tell them Jaron just made a good point to make sure they hit the like button and heart button on this thing on here. It helps the Facebook algorithm. So, every little bit helps. Okay.
Everybody on my live, man, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, man, because we gonna... I think this is something that I think Classic Conversations can start championing. We're going to get these HBCUs some light. I mean, we're in Atlanta. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
We're in that's going to be... Look, that's our contribution to helping the HBCUs. Right there.
But that's all we need.
We're gonna bring the light.
But like,
You know what I'm
let
saying?
me give you, JT. You say that. Let me give you a perfect example of it. Both of y'all have brands and businesses that y'all run. If I come to you and say, hey, I need you to buy some tickets that we're going to give out to some youth group here in the city to an HBCU football game, and I tell you I need you to spend anywhere from $50 to $200. But we're going to talk about your business on the broadcast while we doing this game. Didn't you do you did that Clark Morehouse game with us that year, didn't you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was dope.
We had 10,000 people live on that game.
It was crazy. It was crazy for real.
Watching. We're talking about watching it. 10,000 people just on Facebook. We didn't even talk about our server and YouTube.
Yeah, that was nice.
So are you not going to support something that you get that kind of attention? Being in Atlanta, knowing how many people are HBCU alumni, how they support their schools and stuff, are you not going to be like, oh yeah, well I got this little cigar thing, or I got my new cologne. Yeah, let me drop this out to the brothers. See, again, the problem that the schools overall have had is that they have not asked people the right way. That's really what it is.
Right.
They either aren't asking or they're not asking the right way. You know, I say they want you to come in and they're trying to go for the big fish and be like, you gotta start off small sometimes.
You're right.
You get more of them. Use that Walmart mentality.
You're right.
Sell a lot of it for cheaper.
Good point. Very good point.
We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna work with these HBCUs.
And I agree with you, Jaren.
And
we were talking about that last week.
What Jaren say?
And he's talking about we need to be getting sponsorship from them same folks and then advertise them.
Oh man, I appreciate that, bro. Because I was gonna ask you about that in regards to sponsorships. You know, and I don't know with the stadiums. Are the stadiums sponsored? Or are they just paid for with the school? Do they have any sponsors? I mean, when I say sponsored, I'm talking about where they changing the name of the
name
field,
right,
where it's FedEx Field. You know, are they getting sponsors like that?
Well, no, because most of the HBCUs are putting their naming their fields and stuff after former coaches and things right now. Mm-hmm. That's what you're getting a lot of that happening. So they're not really doing that yet. And to be honest, most of them don't have the facilities to really do it to where people don't want to put their name on it anyway. Let's just get real. Not from a football perspective. So, you know, that, like I said, those are other things, man. Like you said, to talk about it. Now, let me jump on something else real quick. Now, I meant to talk about.
I think Popeye's Chicken will sponsor one of these HBCUs. Hey man, I'm serious.
But you
name it after an
you know
old
when you
coach.
talk about that name, image, and likeness, though.
Yeah.
You know when you talk about that's actually going to be huge as it starts to roll around. Because one, you got to remember, people can find players anywhere now because of the internet. You don't be able to see people. You know, back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, you didn't have that kind of visibility. If you weren't at one of the big schools, you weren't getting seen. That's why you had people, you know, you had 5 stars, 3 deep on your bench that you could do it. But now they got the transfer portal. These kids be on their Twitter and their Instagram talking all that stuff. They 10,000 followers following them wherever they go. So now if I can go somewhere and get that legal money.
Oh wow!
To go play football at these schools. Oh yeah, the name, image, and likeness. That was one of the reasons that it was being fought for so long. Because they knew that as soon as that kicked in, especially the HBCUs can be the ones to benefit from this most. But you know what they got to do first? That situation at Alcorn has to be fixed. You can't go nowhere. You talk to players like, man, we ain't got no trainers. Well, hell no, I'm not going there. If I get hurt, who gonna help me?
Right.
Yeah,
that was bad.
You know, that we've got to come to a certain level. That's the one thing that we have to do, and I won't say a certain level. We've got to set a standard as conference, as an overall group of HBCUs. We have to set a standard, and everybody has to come up to meet it. And if we need to help somebody in the group come up to meet it, damn it, let's do it. Because the stronger we are as a unit, the more we're going to be able to make individually.
That's why I hope the kid that's at Howard that got hurt last year, what's his name, McCool, or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, I hope he comes out this year and has a hell of a year where he's not injured, because he got injured last year. And
Right.
I'm hoping, because his success is going to lead a lot of other players on what they do with something like that. Because like you said, you can, if you got the followers, you can make the money wherever you go. Now,
That's right.
Then Shaq's kid go. Are they going to Tennessee State? Texas Southern.
They're going to Tennessee State. Yep. No.
Texas
I think
Southern.
one of them going
Texas
to Texas.
Southern. Texas
Texas
Southern.
Southern. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the boy and the girl going to the same school. I thought. Yeah. And
I
then
wanna think so.
Master
Can't believe
P's son going.
He's at Tennessee State.
Right.
boy got a
So he getting some attention, man.
Boy, he got $1 million that night.
Yeah, man.
Boy got $1 million that night.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it was
crazy.
more than I think it was $2 million.
Yeah, he was the first one to get a
Beats
deal.
by Dre. Yeah. That's good stuff, man.
But listen, man.
So yeah, believe me, it's going to change it.
We were going to get into the whole COVID thing, but if we do that, we're gonna be here to midnight. So we're gonna get you to call back in next week. I ain't gonna tell people why I want you to call in, but basically next week what we're gonna talk about is basically, man, we need you to call in in regards to vaccinated versus unvaccinated, and when does
JJ's real shit.
does it become
Lionel.
a selfish act? Because we know it's a personal choice, but at what point does it become a selfish act if you're talking about dealing with other people and that type of stuff? So that's what we're going to do next week. We ain't going to stay
And we're going to jump back on that, and we talk about it. We're going to make sure we emphasize about the mandate, because I know we got Jaron listening, you know what I mean? So we definitely want to talk about the
mandate.
the presidential mandate that's being proposed.
All of it in here. We're going to talk about the vaccination cards. We're going to talk about soon. Seriously, what's going to happen is they're going to have a list out to where you can actually Google it, and you're going to be able to find out where you can go at and actually be around other people that's been vaccinated type of deal. It's coming. There's somebody out there right now working on the app. They're going to make a lot of money. So if you're listening and you think you can do it fast enough, make sure it happen, because it's coming. I told people life has changed. It's not going to get back to regular, as people seem to think. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
It is what it is right now.
It will, but it's going to take a good 5 to 10 years.
No,
Back
it's
to
not
normal,
getting
homie.
back to normal.
It ain't getting back to normal.
This is the new normal.
This is the new normal.
I think because really the main thing they have to do is it's a matter of getting to herd immunity, and they got to figure out how to get to herd immunity one way or the other.
All right, don't get into
herd
it.
immunity takes 75%.
Don't get into it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We'll be here all night. We'll be here all night. So, Roy, if you can next week, come in. If not, give a telephone
Will
call.
was over there doing finger exercises on that one, boy.
Yeah, I already know. If we get started on that,
Get ready to hang up on me. I got you.
Yeah, we will.
I got you. I'll be back.
All night. I promise you. I know we would. So, hey, bro, appreciate you calling in, man. As always, one of the guests of the show, one of the brothers of the show. We appreciate you calling in.
Blue
And we're gonna talk.
You know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you next week, bro. Go ahead and let them know where they can follow you at and all that good stuff real quick.
Again, man, y'all can hit us up, the Black College Sports Network. We will actually be in Mobile this weekend doing a game with the #1 team in HBCU football, Division I, Alabama A&M, perennial powerhouse. They coming back up off a couple of bad losses. They got a good win in this past weekend. Tuskegee University will be down in Mobile with the Gulf Coast Classic. You can follow us online. All our social media is at MyBCSN and the #1. MyBCSN, the #1. And then you can also follow the Jericho Broadcast Network, which is a parent company, at MyJBN and the #1 on all social media and on YouTube.
Who are they playing?
Tuskegee's playing Alabama A&M.
In Mobile.
Yes, sir.
That should be good.
Oh, yeah.
And the band should be phenomenal.
That's a problem. That's what that. That's a problem.
Hey, don't hang up though, man. Don't hang up. Well, I want you to join in on my top 5.
On the top five. So, go ahead, bro.
You ready?
Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Top 5. You gonna go first, Roy? Top 5. Good category for tonight too. Here we go. Top 5 female athletes of all time. Top 5 female athletes of all time. This is our number 1 fan through this category a couple weeks ago. I told her I'm gonna say this one. This is a perfect night for it.
Okay.
That's a good
Top 5 female athletes of all time. On you, Roy.
All right. So I'm going to probably end up being slightly biased in some of this. I'm going to start off with Venus Williams, number 5. I'm going to then, no, I can't even put it. She got to be in the top 2. Okay, let me see. Venus, number 5.
Doesn't have to be in no particular order. Just give us your top 5.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to put them in order. Cheryl Miller. I was about to say Reggie's sister. I couldn't remember her name. Cheryl Miller.
Absolutely.
Number 4. Number 3. There's going to be another basketball player. A girl, the cute one. God, dog. I can't remember her name.
You said the cute one.
Well,
let me skip over that.
What's your
The basketball player.
She played. Yeah, it was a basketball player, dark skin. She had her name wasn't Cheryl.
Swoops.
Yes, it was Cheryl Swoops. I think that's the one I'm thinking about. I can't remember her name, but because I think she just did a lot for the WNBA and stuff, just like Cheryl Miller did. Number 3, I'm gonna bring in FloJo.
Mm-hmm.
My number 2, it was hard for me not to make her number 1. Really, is Serena, but I think somebody that does not get enough credit, that does not get enough attention, is your girl Allison Felix. Right now. She is my number 1.
Felix.
When you talk about competing in the Olympics as a sprinter for over 20 years and you still medaling,
Right.
look, I ran track. I know how difficult it was, going from 10th grade to college.
Right.
And you talk about running 20 years and you're still medaling as one of the best in the world. Yeah, she don't get enough credit. She don't get nowhere near enough credit.
I agree. Can't argue that. All right.
So yeah, that's Serena's number 2 because
Allison
she also
Felix.
number 2 because she married that white dude. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
That's hilarious.
Love is love, homie.
So,
Yes, sir. All right. Dwayne, y'all got the microphone over there. Top 5 female athletes.
That could work.
You or Will, don't matter.
Check. Okay. I'll start off number 5. Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Who else? You said it don't gotta be in order. Jackie Joyner Kersey.
Jan said we
Tina
big on the
Thompson.
sports talk.
'Cause she got my last name. I used to love Tina Thompson. From the
Tina
comments.
Thompson.
So she was on mine just because of her lips alone.
Maya Moore. She's from Gwinnett, Georgia. Collins Hill High School alumni.
Yeah. She's a bad girl.
She's a bad girl. Clarissa Shields, the boxer. She's young, but she's an undefeated world champion boxer woman.
Okay.
Black woman. Ain't nobody beating her. She's She actually had to start fighting MMA because she wanted to make some more money. And she won in MMA too. And you know, number one is Serena, man. Serena is the greatest athlete of all time.
Hard to argue.
For real.
I don't even know too many of them. But Serena, Venus, Billie Jean King, that's 3. FloJo and Jackie Joyner Kersee.
All right. Sunshine, you got some female athletes?
Yeah, some
Wrong category for you. Want me to read mine off? You want to go first?
You go ahead because I just forgot somebody's name.
All right. Number 1 fan got FloJo, Jackie Joyner Kersee, Flo Hyman, Althea Gibson, Gabby Douglas.
All right.
Orlando has Wilma Rudolph, Venus and Serena Williams. Guess she put them together.
I ain't mad at her.
Jackie Joyner Kersee, Althea Gibson, and Simone Biles. Can't argue with those. Teasy, what you got, brother?
I got Marion Jones.
Marion Jones, okay.
That Tar Heel, boy, that Tar Heel, I had to go there.
No doubt, no problem.
Cynthia Cooper.
Okay.
Boy, that Cheryl Miller, Lisa Leslie. It's
I know, right?
Cheryl Leslie.
Cheryl Leslie.
Both of them as
Lisa
one.
Miller.
Yeah.
Too
Cheryl
funny.
Miller and Lisa Leslie. That's number 3. Number two. Yeah, got to go with Jackie Joyner Kersee, number 2. And then Serena's number 1.
All right.
Like Dwayne said, that the stuff she carrying around on that tennis court and moving as fast as she move, she carries a lot.
To the stuff she carrying around.
She carries a lot. And you just,
Boy,
every
Big
time
John
you,
say them yams.
every time you look at her, you just like, how did she get all of that over there that fast, man?
That
Yeah,
fast.
that's. I mean, it ain't just the bottom.
And
It's-
then use it for power.
yeah, it ain't bottom. It's bottom and top. She's probably the only athlete that shop at what's the big lady?
Is there a squeal is sexy?
What's the
He said her squeal is sexy.
what's
Hey man, that's hilarious, boy.
grunts? He right. Grunts. You know, I don't care that she married to a white dude. That's cool. And he ain't really white, they say. So
Be foreign or
she's
something.
probably the only woman that can shop at the Lane. What's the Lane lady?
Lane Bryant.
Lane Bryant. She's probably the only one that can buy bras at Lane Bryant and get on the tennis court. Hey man, Serena.
No doubt. No doubt. Nita said you stupid. That's your 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, Lionel. Boy, Lionel, you finally gave me 5, man. You usually give me 1 here, 2 there.
Hey Quentin. Hold on. Hey Quentin, go ahead and give me your 5, bro. Give me your 5. You write them down. I'll announce it for you.
All right, Lionel got FloJo, Venus Williams, Cheryl Miller, Cheryl Swoops, Jackie Joyner Kersee. Nita said her husband name isn't white. He's of Arab descent.
Told you. I said it. I said he wasn't white. He light skinned.
All right, my mom has Wilma Rudolph, Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Billie Jean King. That's 4.
Forgot about Martina.
Martina Navratilova.
Navratilova.
Yeah, she was bad too. All right, so I have Cheryl Miller. Was definitely on my list. I agree. I debated the one with Lisa Leslie. That was real tough because they both are straight icons in that game.
Yes.
Got to go with FloJo. FloJo set,
The standard.
man, real deal, man.
With the nails.
With the nails and all. So Cheryl Miller, FloJo. I'm gonna tell you, I just lost her name. Doggone it. but the white basketball player from UConn.
Yes.
What's her name?
Taurasi.
Diana Taurasi.
Yes, she was on.
Diana Taurasi.
She was right there for me.
Diana Taurasi,
Right
probably
there for
one
me.
of the baddest basketball players, male or female, to ever play the sport.
Hey, bro. Hey, man.
Hey, when
Hands
I say
down.
that woman there is a straight cold-blooded. She's cold-blooded, bro.
Telling you.
Been that way from day one. Cold-blooded. White, black, you call it what you want.
Yeah.
She cold-blooded. So Diana Taurasi. Let's see here. I'm gonna give this one because of what she did both on and off the court. My girl Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley was an absolute
Yes,
monster on the court.
Forgot about her.
And then to come back and coaching to a national championship, coach the Olympic women to gold medal. I mean,
And standing up for a lot.
a lot. She's done it all. Dawn Staley. And then last, of course, I agree with Dwayne, probably the baddest athlete of all times.
She carrying a lot.
Junk in her trunk. But do it all.
Chest on her chest.
Serena Williams. And you know, for us who've seen her grow, thank you, Lionel. It's a great show again. You know, I can't wait to watch the story because I always felt like her dad is not given the proper respect in the tennis world that he should be given. This man coached those girls, man, and told the world what they were going to be. You know what I mean? I remember
when they had the beads.
when the beads. I remember the story. They were in Compton, and I remember him saying, y'all think Venus is good. Wait till y'all see Serena.
I know.
He said that jump, bro, when they were little
I know.
girls. He said, y'all think she good. Wait till y'all see Serena.
Yeah, he called
Serena's
that.
going to be much better than her.
He called that one.
He called it. He called it. Richard Williams, man, OG. He deserved, you know, all the props for that jump, man. So that's my top five. Jaron got Mary Lou Retton. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Good
Christy
call.
Martin. The French ice skater. I don't know who that is. Dawn Staley. Oh, you went with Dawn Staley. Okay. And Serena Williams. Venus did set the standard, Nita. Been following both. She set the standard, but that doggone Serena took the standard and ran with it.
All right, my man
took it and ran
my man
with
Quentin Caldwell. Shout out, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. No particular order. He has Serena, Cheryl Miller, FloJo, Candace Parker,
Candace Parker.
and
And she a
Dominique.
cutie pie.
And Dominique. Dominique Dawes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I seen Dominique Dawes during the Olympics too, man. She done grown up. It's like, man, I see her be a grown woman, man. It's like,
Hey, man, but
still look good.
do you realize that Candace Parker is I think she was the first woman that was on front of the Slam magazine in a New York Knicks uniform? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Hey, good call, Q.
Yeah. I
Candace,
remember that.
yeah, Candace, man.
Let me get a shout out to Teresa Edwards.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Georgia resident and one of my friends. So
Yeah, Teresa Edwards. Yeah, she was dope.
Real big.
Yeah, Teresa Edwards was dope. Yeah. She
We're
was-
going to give shout outs. Got Delisha Milton, man. Delisha Milton from Bradwell Institute in Hinesville, Georgia. You know what I mean? To go on to become a WNBA champion, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, and now she's a head coach at Old Dominion University. And they did a story on her not too long ago, man, and she gave all kinds of shout outs, being from Bradwell Institute, Hinesville, Georgia. It was kind of cool watching that junk, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's all good. Well, we got
And
several
for
of them.
all of y'all that don't know, Bradwell was not an institution for troubled
Yeah,
kids.
for trouble kid, right?
It was a real high school, all right? You know, you hear institute and you hear high school, you be like, oh, man, them was trouble kids. Now, it was a real high school.
And then we were the real deal. And we were the real deal. Them Tigers, that's right, Jaron. Tell them Tigers.
All right, man. Great show. Oh, got to do this. Last time I was up here, I told y'all that my wife was nominated as the Sister of the Leaf of the Year for 2021. This show, I can actually tell you, she is the Atlanta Cigar Week 2021 Sister of the Leaf.
Congratulations, Casper.
Yeah. I taught her how to smoke cigars.
You taught her how to smoke cigars, right?
Yeah, man.
Congratulations. That's what's up.
And we won a bottle of liquor, boy.
Yeah.
I Googled it.
Yeah.
$185 bottle of tequila. Woo. And she don't drink. Watch out there now.
How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be around the house for a long time.
Yeah. How about that? That's awesome. Congratulations. Y'all did y'all thing
Appreciate
all
that,
week
Quentin.
long.
Yeah. We tired.
I bet.
Found out that I ain't as young as I used to be. Me and my wife, we went out every night. 11 straight nights. 11 straight nights. And a couple of those nights, we actually club hopped. I ain't gonna say club because we wasn't going to club, but it was lounge hopping, cigar lounging. Yo, I figured it out. I gotta chill. Gotta chill. I had to smoke tonight. I wasn't gonna smoke this week, but I had to smoke tonight because of the show. But please believe tomorrow there will be no cigars around me. And we have smoked some cigars and had a great time. Shout out to Atlanta Cigar Week. I know my man Rio is checking the show out. Straight dope, for real. They did it again. Yep, they did it again. Get my man Angelo out somewhere sooner or later. You know, he's a busy man. I got to get him out.
You better do it. I got about better do it next 3-4 weeks. Hey, my aunt Orlando said, great job, Sister of the Leaf. Tell her congrats. And she said, great show, and we stayed on topic, LOL.
Right. Stayed on topic, didn't even go to the next topic.
That is hilarious.
Yep. Great show.
I think he's going to hold on to that tequila.
Oh, yeah. That's not going to be sitting up here.
Yeah, that one man said, go get it to me, you'll take care of it. I don't think he's going to let that one go. He said $180 bottle.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they're going to be at the house.
Yeah, that one there going to be some sips. I'll be talking about that bottle next year. Watch what I tell you.
Hey, but great show as always. Classic Conversations, man. I enjoyed it. You know, want to remind everyone, this is September. The voting is coming closer and closer. It's about that time, folks. Yeah, mayors, the Senate seats, district. Yeah, all of it's about to go down. Think globally, vote locally. Think globally, vote locally. It's that time. Don't take this stuff for granted, folks. Don't take it for granted.
All right, folks, again, great show. Appreciate you for tuning in, Quentin. Appreciate you. Said enjoyed the show, fellas. Next week, again, we're going to talk about this vaccination thing. When does not getting vaccinated become a selfish act? Or when does getting vaccinated become a selfish act? I don't know how it does, but we're going to talk about it. So that'll do it for this week, man. Classic Conversations with JT and Low. We out.
Atlanta, and I lived on corner like Ponce and Juniper, and like 2 blocks away from it was like the Metro Atlanta homeless shelter, and so it was a lot of you know houseless individuals, indigent folks in that area, and me pushing a very sexy Honda Civic would be trying to get to where I wanted to go, and I'd be upset because I'd be like, how are you just walking in the middle of the street? I'm trying to get to where I got to go, right? Very Americanized, privileged view of things. And I think what came of that too, though, was me realizing that those individuals, they have a different relationship with the street than I do, right? Like it's an avenue, it's a means for me to get to a place. But for those people, like that is, at that time, it's home. And it made me really ponder and think about this idea of what home means. what does a residence mean, what does a house mean, and how there are a lot of people who go back to their place of residence and they don't feel like home all the time. There's not a lot of love there. There's not a lot of community there. So it might not even be a place sometimes. It might be some people that you are around. It might be something that you're carrying with you in some ways, right? And so it forced me to think about this idea of home. And I think even more so in this last year, when a lot of us have had to be sheltering at home. I mean, no one in Atlanta did this because we apparently didn't think the virus was real. But regardless, the idea, though, was, to shelter at home. I think we did it for like a week and a half. But regardless, a lot of people, they couldn't wrestle. They had to wrestle with that, like staying in that place. And I think that it's really important for us to examine where it is that we find community, where it is that we find belonging. And so this piece deals with this idea of houseless. And I say houseless individuals because just because you do not have a place of residence or a covering over your place does not mean that you are without a home. So that is my family ties, moral session, sha-na-na-na, all of that. And I think we're going to try to figure out this next song. Cool? Cool. Yeah. Curb appeal. Hey. For all the nameless and faceless, forgotten. Be as it may, home of the castaway, the city whispers, we fast and pray. A sinner's Saturday, the saints of the latter day. From the fabulous Fox, we're like a block away. Cortland and Pine, where misfortunes align. The great disparity between your portion and mine. Such a morbid decline, but of course with the time that passes, it has to start warping our mind. This familiar ugly, the foreign beauty. Amidst these red line neighborhoods, you'll find a ruby. There is hidden gems in plain sight in this vicious world. Rufus Wainwright, limboing the poverty line. Your life can become a crime. Panhandle for dollar signs. Feeding me can get you fined. Medicate with free base, dank and some kind of wine. Missing rungs on that ladder to success that they want us to climb. Hey, hey, yeah. Scripture says, foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. I'm like, foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man. We all say, I don't do handouts, I do not carry cash. I'll get you next time. This is all I have. All those declines to help, they ring hella hollow. A hungry belly with only pride to swallow. Pebbles on the street leave impressions on my cheek. Today's newspaper serve as tonight's bed sheet. I'm trying to make ends meet, locked in a dead heat. A survival, but yet I'm racing with these lead feet. But it is just as well. The streets of Pratt and Bell, prior to heaven, but after hell, poverty's paradise. The vagrant Valhalla, somewhere between the Inshallah and the Our Father. The park is my kitchen, my living room's a bridge. My bed is a bench and the trash can is my fridge. Midtown, 4th Ward, Southwest, too strong. The scabs of the city been picked at for too long. Foxes have holes, birds have nests. The Son of Man has no place where he can rest. Foxes have holes and birds have nests. The Son of Man